Hello, welcome to the Mythology Manifest. Today's video is about the fastest of the Olympians, the god of travellers, pranksters and thieves, Hermes. In this story, we will hear about how he became the god of all these things in his first couple of days alive. The story begins with the nymph, Maia. She was the eldest of the Pleiades, who were the daughters of the Titan Atlas. She was also the shyest of the nymphs, and lived alone in a cave near Mount Selene in Arcadia. Although she was shy, she was also incredibly beautiful, arguably more beautiful than any of her sisters, and because of this, she caught the attention of the king of the gods, Zeus. Zeus went to her cave in Arcadia and told her how beautiful he found her. Being as shy as she was, Maia tried to dismiss Zeus and send him away back to his wife, but he continued to compliment her. Maia had never been so flattered, and so Zeus charmed his way into her bed that night, a night that he stretched out using his godly powers for a lot longer than 24 hours. He then left in the morning whilst Maia was still sleeping. With her being a very minor goddess, it didn't take Maia long to start showing signs that she was pregnant, and her pregnancy didn't last long either. Maia decided that she would keep and raise her baby, but deny Zeus any rights to see him, as he had not stuck with her and helped her during the pregnancy. Not to mention that she didn't really want to risk angering Hera. Surprisingly, the rest of this story is not based around Hera trying to enact revenge on Maia and stop the baby becoming an Olympian. Luckily for this child, he escaped the wrath of the Queen of the Gods. When the time came, Maia gave birth to a healthy young boy in Mount Selene. He had a mischievous face that grinned up at his mother before yawning and falling asleep in her arms. Maia smiled down at her son and named him Hermes, meaning boundary or pile of stones. She then wrapped him up in blankets and placed him in bed before going to her, I can't really say room, so her part of the cave, and also falling asleep. As it turns out, Hermes wasn't actually asleep, but actually just pretended to in order to get his mother to rest. This was how he became the god of tricksters. In the first few minutes he had been alive and in bed, Hermes had grown to around the age of 6. Now, the gods grew quickly, but usually during the space of days, not hours, which is why Hermes is known as the fastest of the Olympians. He opened his eyes and removed the blankets from him, as he began to sneak out of the cave without waking his mother. He wasn't sure where he was going to go, but he knew he had a lot of energy and had to go somewhere. He began running at godly speed and ended up in Thessaly. He wandered around Thessaly for a while and came across a herd of cattle who belonged to Apollo and were usually guarded by the Titan of the Sun, Helios. They were incredibly special cows. Looking at them, somehow at the age of a few hours old, he knew they were very special and felt an urge inside of him to take them. He tried to suppress the urge, but could not, and gave in. He ushered the cattle out of the pen and led them to a cave near the city of Pylos. On his way, he found a dead tortoise on the road and took it with him. When he got to the cave with the cattle, Hermes removed the shell from the tortoise and tied some of its intestines across it and created the first lyre, which is an instrument similar to a harp. From then on, he was known as the god of thieves, as he had taken the cattle, and also god of pranksters because he had tricked his mother and hidden the cattle from Apollo and Helios without them knowing. Apollo went that day to visit his cattle and was horrified to find that they were no longer where he'd left them. The god of music went to Helios and asked the Titan if he had moved the sacred cows. Helios denied moving them and suggested that Apollo visit Zeus and ask if the king of the gods knew where the cattle had gone, as he was meant to be all-knowing and all-powerful. Apollo took Helios' advice and went to visit his father on Mount Olympus. The doors to the throne room of the Olympian palace were closed, which meant that Zeus was in council with someone else. But Apollo was never the patient type and burst into the room, interrupting Zeus's meeting. Zeus asked Apollo what he was doing, and Apollo told him about his sacred cattle going missing. Zeus looked from Apollo and the woman he was in discussion with. It was Maia. She had come to visit him in a state when she had woken up to find Hermes had disappeared and expected Zeus, as his father, to help find him. Zeus assumed that whoever had taken Apollo's cattle must also have taken Hermes as none of them knew how quickly he actually grew. Together, Zeus, Apollo and Maia went to visit Selene, the titaness of the moon, who was sleeping due to the fact that it was day. Zeus asked her if he had noticed anyone taking a baby and Apollo's cattle under the cover of night. Selene said that she hadn't seen anyone take a baby, but had seen one leave a cave in Arcadia and rapidly age and take Apollo's cows. They asked Selene where this fast-growing baby had taken the cows. She told them directions to a cave in Pylos, and they set off to find it immediately. When they found the cave, the first thing they saw were the sacred cattle of Apollo. They heard what was next before they saw it, a beautiful strumming noise. Enchanted by this music, Apollo went deeper into the cave and saw a fully grown, immortal man playing what was a tortoiseshell and intestines. It was Hermes playing the lyre. Apollo asked what it was, and Hermes looked up. When he saw the god before him, he ran away with immense speed, but was stopped at the start of the cave by his parents, Zeus and Maia. His mother couldn't believe how quickly he had aged, and Zeus could not believe he had another son. Hera would be fuming. Apollo came from behind and asked Hermes what the instrument was called. Hermes told Apollo it was called a lyre, and that he could have it in exchange for the sacred cows. Apollo considered this for a moment, and then agreed. He couldn't be the god of music without this instrument, and so the lyre became his, and the cows became Hermes. Maia then tried to get Hermes to come home with her to Arcadia, but Zeus stopped him once again and told him he could either go with his mother, or become an Olympian god. He could be the god of tricks and thieves, and because of his immense speed, messengers and travellers. Hermes said that he wanted to stay with Zeus, which broke Maia's heart, but she did not say anything, and that was how Hermes became the latest Olympian to join the Pantheon. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting, enjoyable and informative. If you did, please like, comment or even subscribe. Thank you for helping me keep classics alive. I have left a link in the description to this channel's Twitter for anyone that wishes to follow it. I will see you next time on the Mythology Manifest.